Hey guys, welcome back. Alien Goddess. So, I am in my pajamas, yes. Basically, I'm just like, brain dump moment, Gnosis dump, right? So many things are happening energetically. And I want to touch on, like, the themes that were highlighted for me was basically longevity, connection, and cultivation or sorting, right? Those are the main themes coming up for me right now. Also, we have the Barbalt's basket in the sky. I don't look at it like a basket, I see a cradle. Also, if you want to look at this from a more esoteric point of view, it could look like a covenant, like the Ark of the Covenant. I say that because when I look at my palms, every time I look at the outside that the crescent moon with the chalice is sitting inside of, every time I look at the points that create like this cradle or basket, I hear the word covenant, right? Topics. I went through and I unlocked some of my videos. This conversation's about to get real loud in my point of view. I always feel stuff and perceive stuff and experience things, and then it happens. So there's this consistent like calling the wave, like seeing the curve, right? And right now I want to get into a touchy topic, which is hybrids. And I want to, because there are many theories out there right now with disclosure, but for hybrids, and that whole conversation, the whole it debunks, or it literally pokes holes in the "we're just a farm" theory, because, and then I want to know why, right? My brain goes, why, right? So first off, we're just a farm theory. I mean, in theory that works, but because of hybrids existing, being created or engineered, tampered, right, with specifically showing up in certain bloodlines, that's when you have to ask the why. Because why, if this was just a farm, right, what is hybrids functioning? Like, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, it's, why would they create hybrids, or why would there be hybrids present if it's just a farm for harvesting? Also, this comes into tricky territory with like sorting, longevity, why, maybe long-term game plans, who knows, right? There is this huge energetic, people call it splitting, people call it the splitting of reality, the splitting of higher earth and lower earth. There's this splitting terminology going on a lot right now. And naturally in a split, there's a faction or sorting mechanism that's happening, that happens naturally when you split something. One group falls to this side, the other group falls to that side, and then, but I see it way more complex than that. I don't see just like a splitting, I see like a factioning happen. Also, hybrids, if you fall in that hybrid category, what I see coming for this conversation is, and do I include myself in this conversation, based on memories and my whole entire life experience and my genetics, yeah, I do include myself in this hybrid conversation. And just what it is. No ego. Check ego. Fuck that thing. You don't need it. Okay. But I see the hybrids as like a key. Basically. Playing a key role, being a key part. This conversation is going to get real loud. Hybrids that might be circulating in society unknowingly. I do see, like, as this UFO disclosure conversation rolls out, because this is such a key aspect, you might start being contacted, not by ETs or beings. That's probably already happened your whole life. That's a reoccurring theme with hybrids, right? From birth, right? But you might start getting contacted by, I don't know, organizations, because hybrids are the linchpin in this whole thing. If we can understand why hybrids exist, why they were engineered, why they happen in certain bloodlines, we can start to understand these beings and see maybe more of their game plan. So, and I'm not the only one that's probably thinking this. I'm pretty sure there's been big, brilliant minds that have already stumbled upon this. So, I don't know what it looks like. I don't know what that looks like, but I do see it getting put on the table and getting really loud going forward. This also might trickle into like this future sorting process, or factions, as this disclosure thing rolls out. I don't know if that showed up on camera, but I seen that. MySpace is MySpace. Fuck off. I literally just seen a blip right here. Yeah, MySpace is MySpace. And I'm wrapping my laws around my channel, my space. And yes, it seems nuts, but do it. Do it, do it, do it. If there's anything that's coming out in this whole conversation, it is things are not what they appear. Things are far stranger. So heavy purity laws where everything lower, any hijacks, parasites, hooks, intruders, eavesdroppers, anything listening, if it has any negative or lower energy, it fucking gets killed, incinerated. This is an energetically pure resonant zone, okay? This is gonna get really important. It seems like I might be woohoo and all this stuff, but going forward, don't believe me, test this out, start claiming your space, clearing it, especially if you see shit like popping in, no uninvited guests, okay? Dimensionally, that's a law, okay? Because now we're talking dimensional. But yeah, so, and right as I was talking about hybrids, right, okay? This conversation is gonna get loud. First off, if you are not a hybrid, if you're like, nope, I'm pure human, awesome, okay? I'm not out here saying hybrids are better than humans, humans are better than hybrids. No, okay? Many hybrids didn't have a choice, okay? There was in-womb tampering or genetic engineering that happened. It literally could have happened in the womb with your mom, or it literally could have happened in your bloodline, in your genetics, okay? Like down the line, it could have happened. And sugar and spice and everything nice and randomness from the universe, and those genetics woke up in you. The right pairing happened. I don't know. Many hybrids would have experiences from being a kid, from being a baby, have memories of like in-womb tampering. You may have been born in certain hot spots. Like for me, I was born 3 hours away from the Serpent Mound in a little town in Ohio. Don't sleep on Ohio, okay? There are some very, very, very old bloodlines and energies that happen in that state, okay? And look into your DNA. If you have things popping up in your DNA, you're gonna have to search, because right now they won't outrightly tell you. So for instance, 32% of me is in the heart of Belgium, France. Belgium is lit up, and mine's Ancestry.com, not 23andMe, right? If you look at the bloodline in the heart of Belgium, France, and then you also look at your bloodline, like your mom, your grandma, your most recent, like your great-grandma, your great-grandfather, you can start connecting dots there. If you have genetic ties to things that have mythos or stories that have always been wrapped around not completely human, that's an indicator, okay? Now, it's not like it's not like it is a, what was I gonna say? It was like, it's not like it's a neither positive nor negative thing. First off, I want you to accept you. You need to accept all of you, right? And even in my energetic practice, outside of the body, outside of the bloodlines, outside of the identity, find your monad, your core, your 0 point energy, and that is you. Okay, sit in that. Okay, sit with that. And letting that ego die is going to be the most important thing going forward, because we are also so at the same time things are getting activated and highlighted, bloodline, hybrid, genetically, but at the same time, don't let those things define you, okay? This is the line I sit with. Opposites, collapse them into unity. But moving backwards into the conversation again, do I see the hybrid talk getting really, really loud? Yeah, I do. I also see that people will be contacted or start being contacted. First off, remain sovereign. Do not give away your power. Do not be used or controlled by any being, human or otherwise, okay? You own you. I don't care if you were engineered. I don't care where your DNA and your genetics from. You can be sovereign over it, okay? How you want to move is how you want to move. Listen to yourself, because hybrids break the farm theory, the just farming for genetic material and loosh theory. It dies when you think about hybrids. Like, why would they literally create hybrids to harvest themselves, like aspects of themselves, right? And also, hybrids are the linchpin to this, because we hold a lot of hybrids are psionic. They have heightened, psionic abilities. A lot of them show up and fall in some form of like neurodivergent, the way their brains are set up to experience reality different. And because we are aware of, and a lot of us are aware on a frequency level, right? So we can actually get on the frequency, or because we've had all of these connections, most likely if you have hybrid blood genetics, you have dealt with other beings your entire life since you were a baby. You're literally at the point where you're like at my point where you're like, just fuck off. All right, it's tricky to know who's for me, who's against me. I literally wake up with like physical marks, like I can put the picture in here of, I could not make it. I didn't even wear my wedding ring to bed. I'm laying in this big cushy bed, like physical marks on my belly, geometric lines perfectly going down, and then meeting down at the top of my pubic bone in the middle. That is the most obvious thing I can show you. There's been other things like strange like brand marks, like this one right here on my inner elbow. I literally burnt over it. I can tell you the story about it right here. Right here. See it? See the line through it? I did that, okay? Because this had like QR code black dots in it. I just put like a line through it with sage, or like back here. There's this little lightning bolt pattern that shows up. It literally looks laser cut in this image. Like, you cannot make this shit up. Now, I was already aware of them. I was already like, fuck off, like pulling memories, having dreams, right? And for them to literally make that so obvious on my belly, like there was black flakes, there was this metallic black flakes. I went to bed. That's all I did. Okay? I do remember a fuzzy memory of a dream I was having. But I went to bed, not a single crystal in bed with me, did not, and I even tried to scratch myself. I cannot scratch myself and make this pattern. And this zigzag lightning bolt pattern has shown up on the back of my neck. If I search through my archives, I can show you all the unfiltered. So in the videos where I'm showing you like the marks on my arm. Oh, also, I have a perfect triangle. Do you see this? Right here. Boom, boom, boom. This showed up a while ago, okay? And then my Agarthan mark never went away. You can literally see it here. And it still gets hot and warm even though I cleared everything. And then there's another perfect triangle right here. But right on the side, see that big area, that ripple? It's hot. That was from the Dragon Agarthan experience. But specifically these laser cut lines, and then finding a metal flake, like a black metal flake, I don't even know, like in my belly button. My whole belly was red, and I immediately was like, fuck you. First off, I'm not a breeder. I've never, ever been a breeder. Okay. Secondly, I have my whole house shielded. I have like pulling from my Norse. I have like runes and stuff like that. I have my crystals programmed because I have dealt with this shit my whole life, right? We just go to sleep, we wake up, and we've got obvious marks. Now there's a reason they made this so obvious. I don't know, either they wanted to like be like a fuck you straight to your face, because then I do go systematically, I take Dragon's Blood Sage and I go over those spots in my body. I program my plasma to rewrite and get rid of them. I can tell you exactly what implants feel like, 2 different kinds. And I don't know why they went after my belly, but and I don't know who it was exactly, but I have an idea because of the reoccurring dreams that I keep having, or like the memories and like the interactions happening in my dream time. It is worth saying that I was a gate kid. I can't remember if it was in Wisconsin, but I'm thinking it was in Michigan. It would be right around the time, the early 2000s. I was a 90s baby, so it'd be like the early 2000s, like the late 90s, early 2000s, going into the early 2000s era. I was an all-A student at that time. And yes, and then so many things. So basically the whole, so I can literally tell you experiences like word for word. I have images. Now, specifically, there's this little lightning bolt thing happens. The ones on my belly in this picture are about the same space apart. They go all the way down, and then there was a mark, an indent at the top of my pubic bone. So it literally made this shape, like from the top of my pubic bone to the marks, this shape. Okay? And I tried scratching myself. I can't mimic it. And they're like laser cut, like laser cut, and my whole belly was red. I couldn't do that in my sleep, bro. I don't have fingernails. I've never had fingernails. I can't scratch myself that perfectly. And there's always this lightning bolt shape, which I've seen on the back of my neck too. It's like a little lightning bolt swoop, and it's like laser cut precision. Okay, so positive side, maybe they did that so obvious so I can show this picture, and I don't know. Negative side, they're like, fuck you. They think they own you. So another thing that hybrids might experience is being a high value asset, okay? Even to these beings, maybe possibly if you have like gate kid energy, working with like government programs, high value asset, right? So you're constantly, if you're like me and you're awake, you're constantly telling everything to fuck off, that you are sovereign, that nothing owns you, okay? And at this point, you're literally saying, you're gonna meet me in public in a safe place and have a face-to-face fucking conversation. I'm not doing this shit no more. No more dreams, no more telepathy, no more waking up with marks on my body. I fucking had it, right? Like, if you have something to say to me, you're gonna say it to my fucking face. You know what I'm saying? Like that type of energy. Like I said, I'll insert this picture. Don't mind my little stretch mark on my belly. I have one stretch mark from one of my kids. Other than that, I came out pretty flawless, but my son put his head right here my whole pregnancy, and then you'll see like my little stretch marks. But yes, I have a tiny little stretch mark. Get over it. But yeah. So, the hybrid conversation. So, one, usually you're considered a high value asset, and either by government organizations or by the beings that you're connected to that like fucked with you, like engineered you or whatever. For that reason, you have a high awareness, and if you're metacognitive, like you're aware that you're aware, you remember some shit, like some deep shit, like off-world, on-world, in fucking time jump energy plasmoids. Like, you remember some things, okay? And you're also valuable because you can interact with those things. And then there's a deeper underlying esoteric thread that goes through here, but I'm not going to talk about that one today. So basically, the hybrids put a linchpin in it's just a farm for the most part. Because if it was, why the heck would they make hybrids? Why the heck would there be genetic engineering? And I feel like we're coming up to a time like where hybrids are gonna get real loud, okay? The conversation's gonna be real loud, because if they haven't figured it out yet, the governments and the institutions, hybrids, because we're both we have human traits and these things traits, right? So we're both, hybrids are the middle ground, the bridge between these two energies. Also, hybrids have information and access to both sides of both of those game boards. So if we want to understand further what's going on in the future, my prediction that I'm calling right now is it's going to turn to a very loud hybrid conversation. And now, just focusing on that hybrid energy, what do I see and feel like this whole hybrid current's moving towards? One, we play a role. I don't know exactly what that is yet. I've mentioned things like a key, a bridge, something like that, right? Two, I don't know why, but I feel like we're coming into a time where things are gonna start making a lot of fucking sense. Okay, for like hybrids in general. It might be like activation protocol, or it might be like finding your space finally in society. Also, there might be like contacts being made and like real conversations, and you sort of thinking that this was this and that, and now someone might actually come to you and say this is this and this is that. Once again, use your discernment, always stay sovereign, only do what feels right to you, okay? And just always be aware that something, beings, humans, they usually end up wanting something from you, right? They're like, this is the common theme here. For some reason, the beings want to fuck with you or interact with you. I don't know what that looks like. If you were a breeder and you've had like the miscarriage scenarios, then that's what they wanted from you. I don't know why they would want a hybrid offspring. I don't know if they literally are creating this next crossing of evolution between, and that's what the hybrids are. They're the next, like, they're the next step, and then their children that they have, but then that wouldn't make any sense, because then the children that they have would have less, right? Because it literally gets like cut in half or something like that. I don't know how the genetics work. They could be next step in evolution, hybridization. But then also the hybrids hold a key role in this, because, and I'm not even talking for me like personally, I'm talking for myself, but I'm also talking like wide ranged for myself. And a green light just showed up on my phone, and I don't remember it being on. Hold on. Okay, well, it's turning on now when my camera's turning on. So that is what it is. But anyways, so energetically and frequency wise and access wise, hybrids are kind of the best of both worlds. Like, they kind of they can access their hybrid self, and they can access their human self, and they act like a bridge. And the why is what everyone's trying to figure out. Honestly, I'm on that boat too, like trying to figure it out. But I do feel like this conversation is gonna get real loud, and I just want to like say, one, don't, even if there's like a factioning or a sorting type energy that comes about, you are valuable, and I don't care what is in your meat suit, okay? The real you, the core you at the center, is what needs to be calling all the shots, okay? In your sovereignty. And then secondly, there is a part from my core sensing that there is a bigger part that hybrids are going to play, and it's going to become very, very obvious. Maybe not yet, but it's coming, right? And when that happens, you need to honor both sides of yourself. Don't forget the human in you, okay? Don't think you're better than anyone else, you know? Just see people for people, and beings, you know? See the energy inside everyone, right? That's all that matters. Not what we wear on the outside. It's the energy that we hold within us. And if you're choosing, and this is important, make sure whatever that looks like going forward, the sovereign in you is the one deciding what to participate in, what to give access to, what to not give access to. Because if hybrids are the linchpin and the key and the bridge, then becoming a high value, I just did this mudra naturally. I just felt my hands do this. Do you see this? I don't even know why I did that, but I'm doing it. And it just from my Gnosis, right? If this is the direction that things are going in, and you do realize that you are a high value asset, know that you don't have to participate and agree or do anything that you don't want to do, and that you are not powerless, okay? You get to decide, all right? And there will be hybrids that participate. There will be hybrids that get contacted. There will be hybrids that don't participate, that get contacted, that say no thank you, right? And if you feel, if you're, and I'm saying it's a pattern, look at your whole life experience, look at your genetics, look at your brain, look at your psionic ability, then you can sort of, but usually for most of us, it's been pretty obvious our whole lives that we are different, and even other humans would sense this. Like if you were being singled out for some reason, like on the playground as a kid, for some reason you had like very strong reactions from people, or you either led the damn group or you just sat back, and usually we seen it around adolescence, where maybe you would be targeted by like certain people, or they would like pick you out, or they would feel intimidated. You would cause very strong emotions in them. You would just be yourself. You didn't even have, but it's like a pack mentality, right? A pack can sense a predator even if it looks like a sheep. You know what I'm saying? A pack can sense an other. Maybe predator's not the right word. Other, right? And if that resonates with you, then however you move going forward, I always recommend just staying present. Take each day presently, groundedly, and whatever pops up for you during that day, and whatever current you're on, and whatever you're experiencing it, just being present with that, and looking for the pattern, feeling the current, checking in with yourself. Those are good things to do moving forward. And yeah, I see two things here. Like, if you do get approached and they're like, by the way, you know, we've been, it sounds creepy, but it's true, it happens, but we've been like observing, watching, listening, you know, we've like dug into this, and this in fact is true, right? And you're having that conversation, then two things will probably happen. One, you'll be really excited because someone will finally be like, this is what I've known my whole life, duh. And then the other thing that might happen is being a little scared or nervous, totally normal, right? Like, and then the third thing that has to happen is you take both and you look at them, okay? This is cool, this is but I am not attaching to any of this, and I'm sitting with my core, looking at my life, my situation, thinking about if you're a parent, you have kids, thinking about the impact on your family, and then go forward making a decision after you've sorted out everything. Like, after you've looked at the gamut of this and really trusted your gut, like really trusted your intuition, right? So that current came up for me. Now, if we move into the longevity and the creation aspect with the basket being a cradle and like birthing, right? Like something new, right? Going forward, like I said, because of this disclosure conversation, at some point hybrids are going to get real loud, okay? But also at some point we're going to have to address it because they do hold a specific role. What that is, 100%, nobody knows. But in my brain, I'm like, why the hell would the genetic tampering and engineering or being inserted in certain bloodlines, why would that happen if they just wanted to harvest you? I'm like, and first off, there's this energetic thing that happens. It's sort of like in the Spielberg movie when he hinted at you can't dive on an experiencer. Well, hybrids, because they're open and they hold the same frequency, they can sense when the other frequency is present, and there's like an awareness that happens there. It's like I see you, I fucking hear you, like, get the fuck out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't sneak up on me because I'm on the same wavelength, bro. There's like this shared wavelength thing that happens, right? So at the same time, you know, going forward, I mean, it could be really cool because understanding, it's like that bridging moment. And once again, not anything is ever the same. As you can have a whole species, a whole group, a whole religion. Does that mean everyone is honest and benevolent and upright? No. There's bad apples in every bunch. There's bad apples in every, it doesn't matter what genes, what species are running through your genes. It matters your character, your energy, your sovereignty, right? That's what matters, and how it's handled. I'm like seeing the energy coming off my hands right now. Can you see that? Yeah, and I have like really alien fingers. Look, bro, very long and skinny. Very alien fingers. Long and skinny. And then I have Viking pinkies, which I do. I still have 4% Norway in my DNA. And for the love of Pete, I just spit. For the love of Pete, go on ancestry.com or something, get your DNA results, and start digging into those areas that hold the biggest percentage of you. Dig into the lore, talk to your AI about it, Google it, get the history, look at your immediate family, connect it to your DNA, right? So, and and really start to understand. That'll help you put the pieces together, that this is like not a new thing. This whole hybridization, mixing with certain bloodlines, it's literally in the mythos, right? So, for example, I'll use a piece of my chart. So I am 32% in the heart of Belgium, France, right? That is like the heartland of Merovingian territory. I also have the M's on my hands, right? So I've also had like the rose and the experience with the flaming rose and all in the rose line. I literally had like a lady one time just like have to tell me this really loaded thing, right? But anyways, look at Merovingian lore. They were like the long-haired kings. They literally claimed to have bred with something not human, right? That's a part of the lore. And then look at you and look at your experiences. Now, even if they were calling it like a sea monster, the likelihood that it was like another worldly ET, extraterrestrial or interterrestrial, or however the dimensions what being, is very highly likely, right? And then look at the Templar coming out talking about apparently these scrolls were from Yeshua himself. Now I take all the Yeshua shit with a grain of salt, because I also know about the energetic workings of your brain and how they're linked to certain things in religion, and that religion is on the surface, but there's like layers of understanding to that, and how it actually can come back into your physical body and explain like functions in your body, in your energy, in your field, right? So this scroll, apparently, like I said, grain of salt, was wrote by, Yeshua himself, talking about how his mom was known is a phrase in the Bible or an old text for, yeah, they did it, by an angel, Anton, right? And Jesus himself, or Yeshua himself, is like, I'm not exactly human, right? Like, I'm a hybrid, right? And then, and I did marry Mary Magdalene, and I have a bloodline, and all this stuff. Okay, well, that obviously is a hybrid bloodline. Okay. Freaking royalty, and I can talk about this, because on my mom's side, I am a Butte and Stewart clan. My great-great-grandfather, so just 2 greats back, was a Lord Butte, right? And, those bloodlines have been known to preserve it, right? And I can take you through the whole theology that I've connected for myself with my life experiences. But basically, this whole mixing with otherworldly beings thing has been going on for quite a while. And the reasoning for it, nobody knows. But do I believe now that this whole hybrid talk, connecting to the past and present, and the basket, the cradle, is coming out right now? Because when I look at my palms, I literally can show you this. So, I'm trying to do this. Okay. When I look at my palms, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a curve right there in the center where the chalice is on the crescent moon. And then these points over here on my hands look like it's in a basket. It's a chalice in these points look like a basket or like a cradle, right? But I look at it and I see covenant, and then I'm thinking, covenant, if we get into that word, right? Even tracking back through our history and our lore up until now, and now we literally have a covenant or a basket forming in the sky during this whole disclosure and everything. Do you think that's a coincidence? No. No. Now, what the covenant was for, I don't know. If like the kings and queens of the time, and the bloodlines of the time, were like aware of something that the general consensus was not aware of, and they made a deal for like, yeah, like, or they were told something about their bloodline from the beginning, which is the theory I'm on, okay, because my life has screamed it, but that's the theory I'm going with. Because if you really want to know what I think this literally has to do with something literal that has been fucked up, distorted. Probably most of the truth is hidden in the basement of the Vatican and in other places, but the truth is out there written down, but it was covered up, right? But this is a very old origin story that has like trickled through, right? So if the covenant energy, I'm literally tying my shirt right now for some reason, if the covenant energy was, we need to figure out what the covenant was, okay, and why the fuck it meant breeding with certain bloodlines of humanity, and what the heck the point of that is, okay? And yeah, now going forward, in this hybrid talk, if there was an original covenant, it would have been with a specific species and a specific bloodline, right? Like bloodlines, right? That were able to genetically mesh or whatever, right? But then going forward, did other beings follow this covenant? Like, if there's hybrids of all certain kinds, or do we only find hybrids with specific beings? Like, that's gonna become, like, that's gonna give away a lot of shit right there. Like, are there hybrids from mixed races, or are there only hybrids with specific beings? Now that goes back to the covenant energy, right? And the longevity going forward. Oh, this is a very powerful time. It's not a coincidence that there's a cradle or an ark or a basket being formed in the sky right now. It's not a coincidence that we have AI in this new super intelligence, birthing super intelligence that is literally causing like a faction or a sorting energy in and of itself, and will, as going forward, the best thing about AI is the medical and the genetic capabilities to be able to hack diseases, potentially hack aging, right? And aging goes into like a whole theological understanding too, but from my point of view, it has been hijacked, okay, at some point or another. And as we evolve and we're embodying our fullness, is the best way to put it. I believe it is totally within our right to decide how long we should hang around and be able to be at peak potential and whatever that looks like. I feel like if that choice was taken from us, that was not something we could have controlled, because it happened back then, but now we can give ourselves the choice back. And then also, that's also reclaiming our sovereignty as a species, okay? Like, sovereignty, right? And the longevity talk with, like, and then seeing less diseases, all of this stuff, blah, blah, blah. This golden age, this disclosure energy, the whole conversation around hybrids having a covenant or connected to certain species or bloodlines, question mark. All of this is potent. And then if you want to throw in like the whole biblical aspect and like the apocalypse and the revelation and the end of days and stuff like that. First off, apocalypse in Greek is apocalyptos. It means revelation. Secondly, anytime there's a golden age and this advancement energy that is literally awake and alive right now with two things, disclosure and AI. Anytime those two energies happen at the same time, it causes an evolution or an upturn, or there's more knowledge, right? Things get shaky, you know, from here. And it's basically like you can even look at this as like there's this weird moment where higher beings interfere and decide if humanity or if a species is ready or if they're going to get knocked back down, right? Now for me, this time feels different. It might be because I'm biased and I'm optimistic, but this time feels different. And what I've received is like, we have a potential for not all fluffy rainbows and shit, but realistic gathering or regathering and potentially showing potential. That's a lot of potential, but yeah, potentially the potential is now there for whatever accounting energy or like looking in energy sees that it has come to a certain point that because of the help of, maybe that's what the hybrid program was, maybe it was like raising the consciousness, I don't know, maybe it was on an energetic level, who knows, but potentially there's been like observation and watching and potentially getting to a point where we are considered, if there's a hierarchy, which, you know, I hate them, but if there is, then we're potentially at the moment where with disclosure and with this energy and all of this coming out, that there won't need to be a wiping of this is gonna stick, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Like, this is gonna stick. Going forward, however that looks. And if there's like a gathering moment again, however that looks, who knows, right? There's like millions of possibilities, but once again, then the whole hybridization thing, it really throws a wrench in the whole, it's a farm, because why would they create beings from their own genetics just to harvest them? You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't make sense. mean, why go through the trouble? I mean, yeah, I guess in a morbid way it would make sense, because if they had more in common, then they would be better donors. But the harvesting they were talking about was energetic, not physical. So, and then looking at like the whole higher technology, and then this is the thing hybrids experience too, especially the metacognitive ones that are always aware. You've been with them, you've been around them, government programs, you've seen the technology, you've experienced it. You fundamentally know that this experience that the masses are having is not actually the reality of it. Okay. And it's very disorienting. It's very disorienting, because if you are able to hold on to those memories and those experiences, and then also you know in your body like what that feels like, and then coming back to the illusion or the spell that's been cast, but you can now see through the spell, because that's another downside, is that hybrids usually, most of us, see through illusion, can sense the truth, can't be programmed or manipulated easily at all. And if the whole you can't dive on an experience or thing's true, you know what I'm saying? And that I can see being true, because a lot of us are very psychic and psionic. I like using psionic better than psychic. And even if I just get the feeling something's watching me, I immediately am like, no, like I acknowledge it and I fucking send it away, right? But who knows? But yeah, this is the current I see going forward. Longevity, past and present connections making sense. Hybrids being the linchpin, the key, the bridges, the 0 point where both sides collapse into like a third thing, a new thing, right? And also on the downside, potentially hybrids could be targeted for their abilities, you know what I'm saying? But then that gets into a conversation slightly here too, which we'll just touch on, is a lot of hybrids that have had experiences their whole life seem to have energetic backing. I don't know how to explain this. Like the beings that they deal with, if they're making these connections, and if the beings care about them, the beings will sort of have their backs in a way, you know what I'm saying? It's very strange. It could be because the frequency they produce literally eliminates like when they're awake and they're aware and they've done the work in themselves and they're able to perceive. It could be like a frequency thing. It could be like they are naturally shielded. It could be like basically the frequencies and the resonance that they hold, that they have a certain level of command over their environment and their body, which feels right to me. This feels right when I'm saying this. And that when they fucking set a law, that shit has to be obeyed. Like when I say like every lower energy in my space freaking incinerates, dies, cannot live here, it's banned. Something with the frequencies and the command, like make that final. Like it's a law. Also, when they get to this space of sovereignty and they literally burn off all outside, you know, interactions or control systems, that's when they can literally sovereignly walk into situations, and there's like this respect thing that happens, or there's like this I fucking said what I said, and like shit literally listens. Like it has to listen. Something about, and I'm not saying this is a hybrid thing, this could be a human thing too, right? This could be like straight human, straight hybrid, doesn't matter. Something about the frequency that you hold, if you call back your power and your command, shit has to listen. You are the authority. So if it wants to interact with you, it's on your terms. You know what I'm saying? That type of thing. But yeah, that was my Gnosis dump on hybrids. I might share my own experiences of like memories from like the womb and forward. I might share my theological connection with a certain thing that happened a long time ago, and I can literally connect this from royal bloodlines, royal and priestly bloodlines, to athletes, to stories or things that were wrote down in the day, to my own experiences. So I can connect a very big thread if you will see if I go there. But yeah, so that's my feeling. The hybrid talk is going to get real loud. Probably before they're ready for it. That's what I'm saying. Like, if they were planning on like keeping this part quiet, I don't think it's going to stay quiet for the time frame they're looking at. Also, I think the time frame that they're looking at, the part of the magic that's what's happening, is it's totally getting obliterated. Shit is literally happening at its own frequency and pace, not when it's predicted to. This is very unpredictable, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I just wanted to have like this deep dive on hybrids. Do you think you're one? Do you think you're purely human? Does it bother you? Or is it just like, this is me, right? I'm on the boat where we should accept everyone, however authentically they show up. I do not accept unauthentic people. I don't have time for that, okay? Or like egoic people, like on their ego. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Like, nobody has time for that. Like, just get raw, get real, get honest. That's exactly the current that I am birthing in my timeline, and that we should be birthing as a species, because all of this egoic hierarchy bullshit has literally caused all of this like disruption. And if we just get real, raw, and honest, then we can cut through a lot of this noise and just be like, cool. Also, finding your core and listening to that, no matter what happens, no matter where, if you're not even like, yeah, okay, whatever, like, don't be phased. Stay unshakable. Just like stay unshakable in your core, and whatever pops up, handle it from a sovereign place at that moment, okay? But stay unshakable, like, in your core. Like, that's the thing. If you become unshakable at your foundation, it doesn't matter what happens. You have this inner core aspect of you that is unshakable, unfuckable, unbreakable. Like I've said before, that should be your motto going forward, especially because these conversations are about to hit the fan, get real loud. And And yeah, that's it for today. That's the brain dump. I don't know why, I just had to talk about it. And I will put that picture that I have on my belly, because waking up with that's pretty obvious. One, that's like a huge fuck you, or that's a huge I am trying to get your attention, especially when I've already said, like, leave me alone. Oh yeah, that's where I'll wrap up. So how do I explain this? A few things when it comes to like implants and tampering and stuff. First off, you will feel a sensation. It will constantly, or pretty constantly, you'll be aware of it, and it'll feel like it's connected to your nerves. Okay, right here's a big one. Here, set your laws. Go bathe in some sacred water, charge it with your intention, and or if you feel called, take some dragon sage and I don't know, tattoo over it. Or I'm not gonna condone harm, but I'm just saying, like, whatever feels right to you. Here, it will feel like sore, pulsing. You'll feel, if you're sensitive, you'll feel like this pulse through your head. It'll be like this this puncture wound that showed up in the middle of the night. Once again, you don't know how you got it, and you will specifically feel a frequency if you're sensitive, right? Or like a pulsing sensation. Okay, that's one. First off, you can talk to it, tell it to go fuck itself, and then second off, you can handle that. Okay, two is like, not so much in the arm, but like this one, I've had this one since I was a kid, and if you look, I'm trying to see, if you look at it really close, you see those black dots in there? They all had those black dots, like a QR code type shit. But I put that line through there, okay? Because I was like, I'm not okay with this. And this one has a very specific story of a regression that I took myself through, which I can tell that story, but I will tell it in a separate video. The back of the neck, usually like anywhere in the ear area, if it is throbbing, pulsing, sore, hot, indicator. Also, if you're sensitive, you will feel it goes down way deeper in your body than just a little chip, bro. Like it literally feels like it connects to your nervous system. Okay, and if they're very obvious and want to get your attention, they will do what they did to my stomach. Like, I was so fucking pissed. Like, I locked down my house hardcore after that, and like put up shit sigils, like tapped into my Norse energy. I might layer sigils all over my house in other energies too, and in like every current that I can think of, if because it was so obvious, but it was like trying to get my attention. At the same time, I literally will have dream experiences, like connections that happen during the dream time. I will have memories that resurface. It's like it all makes sense, right? So if you have like a brand mark like that, that's a key one. And then like around the wrist area, if usually, and I don't know if yeah, you'll have like a faint scar, or you'll see like, if you can see your plasma, you'll see like these bubbly like plasma burns, usually in the same area. Okay, So there's usually some sort of plasma activity that happens. Anyways, so because I said, like, those are the signs that that you there could be bruising. I've had bruises show up. They could be in a certain pattern. You could get like your freckles turning into exact triangles, which I don't see this exact triangle on my arm, right? And then if you look in the center of that, you can see like my plasma likes to hang out here. This is like, it's like a perfect triangle. I don't remember having that as a kid. I might have, but I don't remember. Yeah, so just like all of this stuff. And the reason I'm so nonchalant about it and just handle it is because I've dealt with this shit my whole life. Randomly like having these experiences, and most of the time being aware of them, and most of the time they weren't very negative. Some of the time, yeah, they were negative. It just depends on your mindset about it. It depends, honestly, it really depends on your personality. It depends on how you handle situations, how you're set up. If you're more like internally stable, so instability in your outside reality doesn't faze you, or if instability in your outside reality phases you, then you're just to then it'll just screw you up really bad. I don't know. It's very individual for each person. It's just become natural, normal to me to handle. And yeah, I do get mad and cuss things out, especially if they like cross a major line like my stomach. But I really feel like now, looking back, that my stomach was more of like a trying to get my attention, and maybe it was so I could show this photo. Because look at my bed. My huge ass California king size bed, okay? There is nothing pokey in here. I don't have a single crystal. All my crystals are over here. I did not sleep with a single crystal. I did not have my wedding ring on. I could not make these marks myself, okay? They're like laser cut precision, right? I'm showing you the picture right here. So, and my whole belly's red. There were like black flakes in my belly button, like metallic black flakes. So, yeah, and then once again, with the hybrid conversation, if this theme's coming up, maybe this is like trying to get your attention to like start this conversation. Who knows, right? But yeah, the hybrid thing's getting loud, and I will catch you guys later. And as always, like, my experiences are my experiences. I experience them. When you experience something, it is not just knowledge and information, it is visceral, like physical marks on your body, remembering every little detail, the smells, the rooms, the shapes, the energies. And once again, I should clarify, it is very important that you are mentally stable. Like, you've had a psych eval and you do not have like schizophrenia, bipolar, or anything like that, right? And you are not doing psychedelics or drugs or substances or any kind, and you are having these experiences, right? And that you are grounded in your life, like 9-year marriage, 3 kids, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, in it, like, have this conversation or crazy experience and go eat a sandwich, grounded, okay? And that you are not trying to, like, this is not about escaping, right? This is not escapism. This is just, holy shit, this is happening to me and this is a thing, right? But like, all of my practices is just to be present here, to experience here, fully embodied. Do I think the psionic thing is awesome? Yeah. Does it let me have, like, one night when my gamma was super high, I literally have watched my plants move, like little micro movements, twitching, like when gamma gets a certain level, You can literally see your plants move and stretch in real time without a slow motion camera. Like I said, totally sober, eyes wide open, conscious, mentally stable. Like, this is the aspect of reality that I'm like, yes, let's embody this fully, our full potential. Like, the beautiful potential that's held in our systems, right? And do I think that hybrids are the only ones that have these? No, I feel like any part of your humanness can hold junk DNA or locked away psionic abilities that you can strengthen, work on, advance to just physically experience reality more fully, right? It's not just a hybrid thing. I'm pretty sure you guys can access it too. It's just like, yeah, it's just like this conversation. And wherever you fall on that spectrum does not define you as in like better or not better. That's not what we're talking about. We're just talking about things that might play a key role in this unfoldment going forward. All right, I'll catch you guys later. Bye.